Hi everyone, back today with another video. This is just an update on the Waxy Glob of Wax farm from the dirt piles. I managed to get my reputation up to level 16 for the ringing deeps, which means I've got the everyday I'm snuffling level 2, and that gives you additional things when you pick up the dirt piles essentially. And I wanted to know how much that would improve the gold farm as it is. When I was checking that, I did notice there are some changes to how the globs of wax work. So, firstly, if you've been hoarding the globs of wax, you'll be glad to know that you can still hand those in for Vela to a cap of 240. And I suspect that's weekly. I imagine it would reset. So, you get 240 Vela points a week handing it in. But the Vela you still collect Vela while collecting from the dirt piles. And you'll see that in the video where I show you the actual farm. So there are still substantial ways to collect Vela from this. Once you reach the Vela cap, you get 30 resonance crystals per hand in, or something to that effect. The big change is they nerfed the gold box, and it's just so sad. So you used to get around 1,800 gold per gold box, the waxy box of coins or whatever it is, something like that. And it's now 200 gold. I picked up a couple of those to double check, just to make sure it wasn't just a weird glitch. So they have dropped that, which means, and I've run this test so many times today to give you guys this information, so much lost potential, but that's okay because it's going to help you out. So the box of rocks is, again, the best way to maximize the gold you're making from this when you're handing it in. So this is just from a handing it in perspective. If you're doing this for the Vela so you can gear up, that's great. If you're handing it in for the resonance crystal so you can buy those pets, and they sell for 8 to 15,000 gold each, depending on what faction you are, like what faction the pet is from. So there's lots of ways to make gold with this, but you can see here I got caps just there. It's 120, not 220. Sorry about that. It's 120. So you can see here I buy the boxes, and yeah, it's back to the box of rocks being the most profitable, and that's down to about 500 gold per box. So it's no longer as lucrative as it used to be. I did try to get a box of dust. I think in the end it was like 110 gold, so that was really not worth doing. So and that's even with the material going up. You can see here I tested the gold box twice in this video to prove to you guys I'm not just saying something. It really is happening. I've run this test an alarming amount of times today, so hopefully somebody gets some value out of that. What I'm going to go do next is I'm going to go and do the actual farm for 30 minutes just to see whether or not that's been changed. Like, has the drops changed, the frequency that you're getting it, what's coming from it, and how much gold I'm making. So I'm hoping for a gold improvement. I haven't actually calculated all of this yet. I'm hoping for a gold improvement based off the fact that I'm supposed to be collecting extra things now. So let's go figure it out. You'll be glad to know I sped this farm up for you so you didn't have to endure 30 minutes of it, but this is 30 minutes condensed down into about 7, I think. So you can see here that I really am collecting all the things that I say I'm collecting. So I'm just doing this in my regular gold farm area. This is in Spiderland, down the very bottom of Spiderland in that little dip. I didn't think to open the map while I was here, but it's the regular farm. If you're unclear about where it is and you're new to these videos, I talk about it a lot, so go and check it out. I did get distracted. I did this 2 or 3 times. I think 3 times. It's hard. It all melded into one today. So just to double check the amounts I was getting were consistent. So I've run this a couple of times, and I got plenty distracted by the war crates. So I think I do that once in this video. I'm not sure. We'll find out. But this was the last video I did. So the results are consistent. And the gold at the end is basically what this farm is now making. I know with the release of the new season, not with the new season, the pre-patch for the season, a lot of people are out doing the undermine quests. So I've seen that that's taking a very long time. I had some people in my guild were talking about it today, and they've been struggling at it for about 3 hours or 6 hours, he said. Somebody said that it's taking them a really long time to work through the quest chain to be able to engage with the next part. So let me know in the comments if you've been one of those people who got up at the crack of dawn to really give that a good go, to be one of the first to get into that new area. I've seen some fun things being linked, coming out of the new Goblin area, and I'm really excited about that. I'm a little bit disappointed that Blizzard gave us a Goblin patch, but it's not about gold making. So, Blizz, come on, do some research. We've got a whole Goblin community here. Just a quick reminder, if you are going to do this Glob of Wax farm, make sure you check to see if there are any weekly quests like the Titan Disc quest. The Sparks of War quest, doing this in war mode gets you a bit extra. And then you can hand in the Sparks of War quest at the end, and you get the bloody tokens, the honor, and the conquest. And they can either be swatched, oh my goodness, switched for things you disenchant or vendor. And that can be a good way to make a little bit of extra gold. But also the honor points allow you can save up and you can buy a pattern from the vendor, and they sell very well, somewhere between, depending on what it is, between 5 and 60,000 gold, depending on what pattern you buy and what profession it is, because people who have those professions don't want to farm these. I was one of those people. To be honest, I bought all of my PvP recipes off the auction house initially because I didn't realize how easy it was to get them myself. So definitely take advantage of that. If you're doing this farm, just make sure you've got those quests, any way that you can double up the amount of gold you're making at the same time. There are also some speed buffs you can get just to make you go a bit faster. I don't use them. They make me feel a bit motion sick, but there's definitely ways to improve the speed in which you can do this farm and the amount of gold you can make. So just have a look and see, do you have those quests, and are there any speed buffs I can put on to increase how much I'm collecting? I've also noticed as I fly around in this area in particular, there are a lot of flowers. So if you had a herbalist, if you've got multiple tunes, I don't. I just have this one. I have an enchanter and a tailor. That's it for me. But if you have multiple tunes, try to bring one that has herbalism, because there are lots of flowers. You can see I stop by them almost constantly. And it would be a really good way to just add a little bit extra to what you're making in this farm. You might as well pick up those flowers when you're landing beside them. Also, this is a bit of a tangent because we're watching how much I collect here to prove what I say. But the enchants today are kind of ridiculous. You might have seen that the Glimmering Haste enchant has been sold a couple of times in my sidebar. I'm selling those for 500 gold each at present with very little competition. There's just everybody's so focused on that new content, and they're buying I'm assuming the cheaper enchants off the auction house as they're gearing up, so they're going through that as quickly as they can. But there's less competition because everybody's over there. I'm not particularly desperate to get into that new content. I really do want to know what's going on in there, but I do kind of fear that if I go into there now, the server lag will be phenomenal as just everybody's in there. So I think I'll give it a couple of hours to settle down and maybe check it this evening, rather than try to get that initial wave. So it's up to you what you're choosing to do there. If you've been to that new content, let us know in the comments. Like, how good is it? And should we be afraid of the server lag? Like, should we give it a bit of a grace period there, or is it fine? I have had some people say that it's really bad, the server lag, but it could just be their computer's not keeping up. I don't know. So let us know in the comments if you've been to that new area. If you found any fun gold farms that we should definitely be getting into, I'm sure there are a few. Not as many as I would like. You just heard my rant before about goblin content, lacking gold making content. But I am excited to do the new delves and the mythics and the new raid. I'm enjoying doing the Firelands raids, so thank you to the people who suggested that to me in the live stream. I have gone back as a healer and not wiped the raid, so it was because I was distracted. But I haven't got the mount yet, but I have done it twice, and it's a much faster way of completing that time walking quest. So thank you for the people who suggested that. I know it was suggested that it could be used as a gold making technique for asking for tips with the skips. Well, look at that. I just made you guys a slogan. Tips with the skips and seeing how that goes. I don't know if that's going to do well right now. I mean, it could be wrong. I think most people right now are very interested in the new content, so it might take a little while for that to come back. But I'll give that a little bit of a go, maybe next week or later this week as the new content calms down a bit, and see for myself if I can record it for you guys how much gold that's making, the tip generation aspect of it. While we're here, I just want to do a quick shout out to my members on my channel. So thank you, Psycho Teddy, Brit Malaka, Hallowed Be Thy Game, and Heretic666. I hope you guys are enjoying getting this content early. And if you're interested in getting those content early, there's a link in the description that you can click if you're interested in learning more about that or getting some fun game time with me and other things like that, joining the Discord server. So lots of options there if you want more of a personal touch. So otherwise, these videos will come out for everybody at some point. There's just going to be a delay. So you will still get access to the content. I also want to thank everybody who likes, comments, and subscribes on these videos. It's free for you and it's super helpful for this channel. It really does make a big difference, just that few seconds there to click on the link, to click on the like button. So consider it if you haven't already, and thank you to everybody who already has. So we're getting to the end of the farm here, and you can see here I'm trying to squeeze in a couple more dirt piles just to really try and get it as close to 30 minutes as possible. And we'll just finish this up and then we'll go. I won't make you sit here while I fly between here and the Ringing Deeps to hand in the little waxy globs, because like I should be waiting until next week to hand those in for the Valor. But for the point of this video, I'll hand them in so you can see the swap for the box of rocks, so we can see the value there added to the value of the farm to figure out what the total gold per hour is. Now remember, we did this in a 30-minute interval, so the gold would have to be doubled to give us a realistic gold per hour. So we're going to go hand those in now, and it's just in the Ringing Deeps. It's pretty easy. You can see here I'm just getting the resonance crystals, and it's because I've reached the cap for Valor for the week handing these in already. It was really easy. I already had a stacked up pile, but you can see here it's super easy, and the resonance crystals aren't that bad. You can swap those for pets and they sell pretty well. I sell Tiberius, the Tiberius pet from Hellofall, 2 or 3 times a week at between 5,000 and 13,000 gold, depending on the day. So it's definitely a lucrative field to get into in terms of 30,000 gold roughly a week selling that pet. So we'll just head on over to the auction house and we'll do some calculations and we'll figure out how much gold we made for this 30-minute farm. Okay, so I'm going to go list all of this stuff on the auction house now. And you can see here, some of it is quite valuable. And the thing about this farm is that it's so diversified in terms of materials. It really helps to cushion when there are blows to the market. But for this 30 minutes, I made 5,300 gold. And that's not counting anything I made from completing quests while doing this. So it's not counting the Sparks of War quests that I finished or any Titan quests or anything like that. So 5,300 gold for 30 minutes. If we times that by 2, it's 10,600 gold per hour. This is raw gold. And like I said, it's not counting anything else you can pair up with it. If you can pick up herbalism and do it at the same time, there's a lot of gold to be made here. So it's not as lucrative as it once was. The cost of the box definitely had an impact, but it's still definitely worthwhile doing. And it'll help you bring some gold in while this next patch is going. That's it for this video. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you found anything useful or of value in here. And as always, remember, girls don't play WoW.